The Ravens are going to get a look at a familiar wide receiver in Sunday's Week 8 visit to Arizona. Marquise Brown is receiving high usage numbers, high targets, with Josh Dobbs getting all the work at quarterback until Kyler Murray returns. While it is true, if you look at Marquise Brown's stats for the year, that his 32 catches have come on 60 targets, which people would claim is not a high efficiency number. I would caution Ravens fans against thinking that he's not actually being efficient at times. And additionally, he's winning a lot of backside routes as the X wide receiver, including, and I'll show you at least 5 wins on third down against various types of corners. Generally, he's going to be lined up to the boundary, away from trips. Occasionally, they'll put him in the slot. Show you at least one example of a slot fade touchdown against the Bengals. And I'll give you a series of his wins here in the beginning to show you how well he's playing, what I think is his foundational route, the slant. And then at the end, some clear missed opportunities between him and Josh Dobbs. I think Dobbs has missed him twice, perhaps 3 times, on longer go routes, verticals up the sideline that could have really added on to his 32 catches and 3 touchdowns. While his yards per target is low, the lowest of his career, 6.4, and the efficiency, 32 out of 60, doesn't sound great. If you watch the film and you see the missed opportunities that are there, he could very easily have 36, 37 catches, 4 or 5 touchdowns, and things look drastically different. I offer to you as well that I think he may be used in the slot some against the Ravens on Sunday. Let's get to the film. This first play is going to be something that I think the Cardinals run often with him or Rondale Moore. It's a reverse. There oftentimes is some trickery. In this case, there's a little bit of some jamming up between James Conner and Rondale Moore in the backfield. And then the reverse also looks a little bit clunky, don't get me wrong, with the way the ball was handed off, but it's a 29-yard gain. And we know that the Ravens utilize Marquise Brown in this way for many years. He's got a lot of speed and the ability to hit things and possibly take it to the house. It's a 29-yard rush in week 1. It's the only opportunity that I have to show you anything irregular with Marquise Brown, but Arizona does run reverses, and they've run them with multiple guys. All right, so a slot fade for a touchdown. Nelson Aguilar beat Cincinnati on this same route from the same side of the field. So it appears to be something that multiple people are attacking with, and a lot of usage on in-breaking routes. This is going to be, and drags. He's going to run the drag in mesh against Cincinnati again. As usual, it's the drag that originates from the side opposite the running back's release. I'll show it to you here and again in a moment. It's a big conversion on a 3rd and 6. There's really no chance for, I think it's DJ Turner, to be able to sift this out as he runs across the field. Turner is the guy checking to one side, then motion's going to bring him back to the downside of the screen where Marquise Brown is. You can see the CTB is indicating to Turner, go ahead and take that. And what you've got is the running back releasing Brown, and there's another drag coming from the same side as the running back. It's my contention, it's often been my contention, that that's the route that's open, the drag coming from opposite the running back's release, because that running back release basically clears out that side of the field. You can see that Wilson has ran with it. Turner has no chance to sift through all of that. You can call him beat if you want, but it's clearly unfair. Look, Arizona runs a lot of mesh, and I'll show you at least 2 examples of it in this video. And Marquise Brown, to me, is a perfect candidate to run those underneath routes and get some yards after the catch. Now, don't think, though, he hasn't won some routes by himself, okay? Backside one-on-one, this is week 3 against Gilmore for the Cowboys. It's a 3rd and 7, and Dobbs is giving him a chance. No one else is open. If you want to watch, we'll watch the play again. Dobbs is giving him a chance, and it's a big catch down the right sideline, the home sideline. I think he's playing well. I think he's won enough of these routes backside on slants. I'll show you a deep out that he wins on a 3rd down. Marquise Brown's playing well. The catch percentage, no doubt, is low, and you can't lie about that, but he looks like a guy who's dangerous, and I would caution Ravens fans against thinking that he's going to have 3 catches on 9 or 10 targets. This guy can make plays with the ball in his hand. Week 2 against the Giants, bottom of the screen is a 2nd and 5. And again, I think this is his foundational route. He's got high usage on this route. Slant used to great effect against the Giants and the Cowboys, both of the NFC East teams. He hits it quick. He gets on top of people quick. He's generally getting free releases, which helps, obviously, with the slant. The Ravens' backside coverage to the boundary is going to be tested because this is very similar to what the Ravens would normally do. Is the running back would be manned up by Patrick Queen, and then the X receiver will be manned up by the boundary side corner, whether that's Brandon Stevens or Marlon Humphrey, depends on whether the formation is to the right or to the left. Marquise Brown doesn't go right and left. He generally is to the boundary in most instances. Another third down against the Cowboys. He's down here at the bottom side of the screen. Timing route, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, and another conversion. Josh Dobbs trusts him. I mean, he should. The guy's a veteran receiver. He's made a lot of plays, been in a lot of big games. Dobbs looks for him on 3rd down, and if Dobbs plays in Sunday's game, which you would expect him to, I'd be quite surprised if Kyler Murray is back out on the field already, even though he's a full participant, I think, in Tuesday or Wednesday's practice. To me, it makes sense to let Dobbs go against this Ravens defense and not throw Kyler Murray in there too soon. But in any case, either quarterback's on the field, you got to think that Marquise Brown's going to get at least 6, 7, 8 targets. Top of the screen. We'll run it again. Off coverage, 1st and 10. You do have a penalty, I think, on Arizona here. Dobbs is willing to stand in there versus pressure. You see him on some of these slants hitting Marquise Brown quickly, but he's also willing to stand in versus pressure. Basically a comeback route up to the top of the screen against off coverage. He's willing to stand in versus pressure, take hits. Dobbs is playing with force, and he's playing with some clear energy and effort. I actually like watching the guy play. I'm not going to claim that Arizona's offense looks great all the time. In fact, I think they're trying to merge a lot of different concepts at times, and the execution can be a little bit off. But I really love the effort and force that Josh Dobbs is playing with, and just love his story. Another slant backside from the top side of the screen against the Giants. Basically slant flat. This concept worked against the Giants often in this game because the Giants are playing man. Like I said, the Ravens will as well. Nearly a touchdown to Marquise Brown. Showing good hands, playing downhill. Definitely looks like he's put on weight in a good way. More solid, nowhere near as small in terms of his frame as what we saw in the first couple of years. Giants really had trouble matching up with that concept that I talked about. Here's another example of it. Marquise is at the top of the screen. Basically slant flat once the tight end motions over to the top of the screen. Quick release. Again, lets him pressure the defense. Get downhill over top of the linebacker level so Dobbs can fit the football in the window between the linebacker who's going with the tight end man, and in this case, the corner is also sitting down man, so they really have a blown coverage here by the Giants. Again, they had a lot of difficulty covering that slant flat concept in week 2. Not all of his routes are slants or outs. Here's some deeper in routes. This is against Seattle last week. This is a 2nd and long. He's down here as the point man in the bunch. Rondale Moore's route's going to go up basically the same release area as Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown just basically follows his release and then sits this down underneath. Tariq Woolen's going to break on it, but it's too late. It's going to be a completed pass on this deeper in route by Brown. 14-yard gain. Maybe a drop here against the Giants on another deeper in route. Ball is in his hands. Somewhat contested, don't get me wrong, but you'd like to see that ball be caught. This is a tough catch from the top of the screen versus Seattle. 3rd and 5. Again, another in-breaking route over the middle of the field against man coverage. I've seen it on a 3rd down. I've seen enough of these for me to say that Marquise Brown is going to be a targeted guy on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, kind of no matter where he lines up. In this case, he's not lined up to the boundary. He's coming from the field side, so it's not always going to be predictable that he's the boundary side receiver, don't get me wrong. A couple of 3rd and long situations that Arizona was forced into. He's going to run the dig from the top side, and it's a nice play by Devin Witherspoon. I did a film study video on Devin Witherspoon Wednesday night. Check it out if you want to. I'll try to link it up here in a moment. Basically, Witherspoon is just zoning this off. It's a 3rd and 14. Arizona's been forced into a number of these long yardage situations. Marquise Brown's bringing his route right into Devin Witherspoon. So it's not a high percentage throw. Heck, they're lucky it's not intercepted because Devin Witherspoon is literally sitting right in the target area. 3rd and 12 against Cincinnati, and he's in the slot, which is where I wonder if we'll see him more often. Nice play by Battle over the middle to get a deflection. Maybe it goes down as a drop. I'm not sure. I think it's a ball that, maybe could be there slightly sooner. But again, it's a long yardage situation. 3rd and 13 that Arizona was forced into, and it turns out to be a drop. Turns out to be a missed opportunity. Speaking of missed opportunities, you got a number of them on vertical routes down here at the bottom side of the screen against the Rams. Wide open on this. You don't get more open than this on verticals in the NFL. Missed opportunity, ball was severely underthrown. Marquise Brown, clearly an opportunity to get his 4th touchdown. And you can see his frustration. Similar win to the bottom side of the screen against a really quality corner, CTB, for the Bengals. This time it's a vertical release to the outside. Ball is slightly overthrown. You can see that Dobbs and Brown are having trouble making connection on that route. Nice clean win up the sideline. This is a touchdown run by Dobbs. Presenting it to you because Marquise Brown is making himself open and available. Again, it's mesh, basically. They're not using the running back for the release. They're using the tight end. Dobbs is playing downhill, man. Look at the dude go. I mean, I don't know how it's not fun to at least see a veteran do those things. Of course, for Arizona fans, it's not going to be fun. They want to see Kyler Murray play. But you can see that Marquise Brown is breaking open here against man. Thought he really gave the Giants trouble in man and had some opportunities to get the football beyond just the targets that he received. Lined up down here at the bottom side of the screen against CTB. Going to be a play action concept. Make himself open and available. CTB releases him inside. Just one of the rules that the Bengals have when they're playing some of their match coverages. Releases him across the field. You can see that there is a defender. I think it's Dax Hill in Josh Dobbs' face who ends up getting a split sack with Hendrickson. Marquise Brown wide open. It's not Dobbs' fault. There's a guy in his face. Just point is, even though he only has 32 catches on 60 targets, there's a number of other opportunities that I've found just in my limited look here in the last 24, 36 hours where Marquise Brown could have had his foundational route, something that he ran occasionally with the Ravens, don't get me wrong, particularly on a lot of RPOs. Arizona's offense seems to be a mixture of multiple concepts that don't often merge together smoothly. And to me, Marquise Brown's been one of the bright spots, even though you see there was a number of missed opportunities, particularly in recent weeks. Appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Ravens fans or other Cardinals fans would enjoy this film study look at Marquise Brown in anticipation of the Week 8 matchup, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.